Welcome to Skyrim for Seniors. We're here out in front of Honningbrew Meadery. Now, that's a dragon howling someplace in the distance. I don't think he's going to do anything. We're here at the behest of Maven, who, well, perhaps he is. Oh, I take it back.
Staying safe, I hope.
Maven sent us to Malus Mafius, particularly nasty sounding name.
Dull old blade can barely cut butter. It's really dead
So,
then?
reminds me of the names in Pilgrim's Progress.
It's like the ancient legends. Dragonborn.
I never would have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, the whole thing's a little hard to believe, except that now it's getting to be a little old hat. From who are you?
Come, I haven't got all day.
Really? Well, talk to me.
It may be dead now, but where did it come from?
I don't quite fathom that statement. The two comments don't seem to go together to me, but perhaps they make sense to other people. I've got to be hot wearing those hats, you know? That's got to be hot and uncomfortable. At any rate, Maven sent us to Malus Macius. Very ugly sounding name. Sounds like he's perhaps holds malice in his heart. Although it's not spelled the same. It's spelled totally different, but it sounds, it's a homonym sort of thing. And Malice has sent us to the Honningbrew Meadery to meet a fellow named Sabjorn. Now, between being told that and getting here, I have done a tremendous amount of stuff. In fact, it could be said that what's gone on in the interim is some of the most important things that have gone on in the entire game as far as I'm concerned. I legendaried my smithing and my alchemy, and ran smithing back to 100. You can tell by the little symbol down there that I legendaried smithing and got smithing all the way back to 100. Legendaried alchemy also, but ran out of materials and only got alchemy back to 87. However, that's all that's really necessary, because all that's really necessary for alchemy is wow, to get to benefactor. Well, not really benefactor, to get to 80, because you want to get the 5 of 5 on the alchemist and then benefactor. And once you get this, you get the 25% additional benefit there, this 25%, and then this poisons and potions are twice as strong. that's as good as you get. You know, this 5 of 5, and then these two, the physician and benefactor. None of the rest of the perks increase your potions any stronger. They're good perks. Don't get me wrong. They're good perks to have if you're interested in alchemy, but they don't increase your strength of your potions any. And these are the ones that increase your potions. And so, being at 87 was sufficient to then work together to create. I created my smithing clothes and my alchemy clothes, and then enchanted up my armor that I'm wearing, put enchantments on it, smithed up Zephyr to probably as much as I'll, uh, as high as I'll take it, probably. And so that's why it's so important, because now I have uh, armor that's enchanted. That butterfly, no, I got the butterfly. Okay. Um, I have additional, um, for example, I have uh, a necklace. Or prices are 40% better, and disease resistance increased by 100%, because can put two enchantments on a necklace, and that was you know, a barter and disease resistance. So uh, oddly enough, that does not mean I'll never get a disease again, which it should, but it doesn't. Um, so at any rate, this was very, very important to me. I did some other things too. I wound up, um, I went up in a lot of levels. Let's see, four, five, six levels overall. And I use those levels for training in restoration. My restoration um, level is now 56, and that's because of training. I trained with Danica Pureheart, uh, and I was able to train. She's a trainer in Whiterun, and she's friendly because I restored the tree in Whiterun, and she's a trainer. Uh, she's a high-level trainer. She can train all the way to 90. Um, but I was every time I went up a level, I trained in restoration, so that's why my restoration is so high there. Um, Alteration is a little bit higher because I was running around using muffle a little bit to up my restoration some. Let's see, what else have I got here? I took notes about everything I did. Um, oh right, I made 100 iron daggers. I used 49 of them to go all the way to 100 in enchanting. So I took enchanting to 100 also. Legendary smithing, right. Um, I have the figure on how many dwarven ingots it took. It started with 1319 and ended with 426. All I have to do is subtract and figure out. It looks like about 900 it takes. And so, but this was very important to me, and I've got my armor set up, and you'll notice how I used one arrow. Of course, now I was sneaking, so I got the sneak benefit. Why are you looking at that chicken. I saw you looking at that chicken there. What did you have on your mind? You okay? Did you feel threatened? You shouldn't. All the villagers will come to your defense if they, well, of course you'd be dead by then, so it's no good. Okay, enough. All right, here we go. Need to go in and talk to Sabjorn. Okay, Sabjorn. Dead skeevers. Look at that.
What are you gawking at? Can't you see I have problems here?
Yes, I do see. Is something wrong?
Are you kidding me? Look at this place. I'm supposed to be holding a tasting of the new Honningbrew Reserve for the captain of the guard. If he sees the meadery in this state, I'll be ruined.
I might be able to help.
Oh, really? And I don't suppose you just do it out of the kindness of your heart, would you? I hope you're not expecting to get paid until the job's done.
How about I just yell skeever?
Okay. No need to make rash decisions. Here's half. You get the rest when the job's done. My only demand is that these vermin are permanently eliminated before my reputation is completely destroyed.
How do I permanently clear the vermin?
I bought some poison. I was going to have my lazy good-for-nothing assistant Malice handle it, but he seems to have vanished. If you plant this in the vermin's nest, it should stop them from ever coming back.
Well, you've got a deal, son.
Don't come back until every one of those things are dead.
You mentioned someone named Malice?
Malice is the best deal I've ever made. Lent him a bit of gold some time ago I knew he'd never be able to pay back. Nothing like free labor to make operating costs cheaper.
I tell you.
Now I've got to clean up this mess.
Oh, wait a minute. Do these guys have tails? They do. There's a couple of free skeever tails. All right. There we go. Now, let's see if we got any Honningbrew meat in here. We do. Now, you may be wondering why I'm taking this stuff since it's stolen. Well, there's two things happening here. They're going to happen about the same time, probably. See, I'm coming up on 90th speech, and I filled the speech perk tree, and at 90, the perk is fence, and you can barter stolen goods with any merchant you have invested in. So basically, every merchant, or at least the ones you've invested in, become a fence. And since I invest in every merchant that it's possible to invest in, then every merchant becomes a fence. I mean, if you can invest in it, I do, and therefore they all become fences for me. Which is not that big a deal exactly. All it means for practical purposes is that there's no real difference then between stolen things and non-stolen things. Is that they're stuff. They're all things. They're all stuff. That's what it amounts to. I believe that about covers it. Okay. Oops. Wow. Must have got hit by a trap. That's what it sounded like at any rate. Oh, I know. I was explaining something that I didn't explain. And once you have fences can turn most stolen things into unstolen things. Now, it doesn't work on everything. There are some things that remain stolen regardless, but for most things, what happens is if you sell them to a fence and then turn right around and buy them back, from the fence. Once you sell them to the fence, they lose their stolen marker for whatever reason. So when you buy them back from the fence, they're no longer stolen. Now again, it's not 100%, but it mostly works. It doesn't work in some of the oddest things. I have this vague memory that there's some books that it doesn't work on. So at any rate, the point being that my plan is to make that haunting brew mead unstolen. Eventually. It's going to be stolen for a while. I mean, I'm going to put it into a container and it'll be stolen. But once I get my fences up and running, which I am with the Thieves Guild, then I will get it unstolen. I don't like having stolen stuff in my inventories. Actually, it's worse than that. I don't keep stolen stuff in my inventory. Period. Now, when it comes to crafting materials, you can steal all the crafting materials you want, and then all you have to do is use them. For example, if you steal a pelt, a skin, the second that you create leather from it, it's no longer stolen. And if you steal leather, the second that you craft, say, armor from that leather,
I know I heard.
whew. Hamlin, you're kidding me. Hamlin, gold anglet, Hamlin's journal. We'll have to read about Hamlin. Ring of Magica. Okay, that's a lot of gold. We'll keep that. Now these are Venom Fang skeevers. Okay, so those are special skeevers. All right, well, let's read. "10 years of ridicule, 10 years of imprisonment, 10 years of exile." Well, is that 10, 20, is that 30 years, or is it 10 years of ridicule, imprisonment, and exile all at the same time? Is it 10 years, or is it 30 years? I don't know. Or maybe we can, I guess it doesn't matter. Not clear, I don't think. Guess it doesn't matter. Never mind. Children threw rocks, and women spat upon me as menfolk dragged me into Whiterun's prison. They branded me as a danger to their pitiful existence, used words like madman and insane. Could a madman escape the prisons undetected? Could a lunatic establish a laboratory right under their noses? Could a psychopath create a mighty army from the common skeevers? My days as an apprentice alchemist in Winterhold were no better. Those egotistical braggarts couldn't compete with my abilities. Where they fell short, I'd constantly excel. Did they appreciate my genius? Did they relish my contributions? No. My instructors beat me and said I was irresponsible, and the archmage cast me into streets like a common beggar. Well, now, calling the young mages at the college egotistical braggarts, now that's right on target. I would agree with that. The archmage cast him into the street. I wonder if that was Arons that did that. Archmage Aron. Hard to believe that somebody, you'd have to be really bad to be thrown out of the college. What in the world would he have done to get thrown out of the college? It couldn't have been experimenting with skeevers. They wouldn't have given a rat's butt. Okay, never mind. As my enemy grows complacent and weak, as they forget Hamlin and his utter brilliance, I build my army. I use every bit of knowledge at my disposal to forge their demise. Thanks to Sabjorn's unwitting assistance, my legion grows stronger every day. The irony that the same ingredients used to make his vile drink could be used to feed my offspring isn't lost upon me. Oh, they will pay. Their ignorance of impending annihilation amuses me. I will bury Whiterun and watch Winterhold burn. And when they experience the fury I've unleashed upon them, when my progeny are gnawing the flesh from their bones, they will come begging and groveling at my feet. But there will be no mercy, no quarter, and no leniency, and I will laugh, and I will dance, and I will rejoice over their mangled, broken corpses. The time for recompense has arrived. 10 years of pain, 10 years of misery, 10 years of death. Okay, so it was 30 years because the 10 years of ridicule, that corresponds to his days at Winterhold at the college. 10 years of imprisonment, that was Whiterun in prison. In exile, that's living over here underneath the underneath the meadery, breeding skeevers. Okay. And then 10 years of pain, 10 years of misery, 10 years of death. Now, is that him he's talking about there, or is it what he plans to deliver? I think there at the end he's talking about what he plans to deliver. Okay. Ah, we found the arrow. We've tracked it down. Activate the nest. You apply the poison to the nest. Okay. Why'd it get dark all of a sudden? I see the book. I don't want the book. I'm not collecting books. Well, that's too little to get into. Guess that's for the skeevers. Skeevers only entrance. We've reached the end of our journey. Oh my, good heavens. Look at that, we're about to... We just did. We just kicked over 98. And we'll always take gold because gold blends right in. You can't discern good gold from bad gold. We've poisoned the brew. We're ready to return to Sabiorn. I guess we don't need that anymore. Where are we? Oh. Huh. Well, I guess we'll call it quits and we'll go in to see the conclusion of this thing at the beginning of the next session. Okay, so that's it, and we'll, like I said, okay.